Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, fellow students. I'm Zoe.
I'm Sharon.
I'm Anita.
Thank you for joining us as we take a look at 8 Sustainable Development Goals, decent work and economic growth. In this talk, we will be taking a look at the meaning of decent work and its relationship to economic growth. Then we will share our ideas on how we, the global community, can improve our conditions for all. And we will end our talk today by discussing the actions and other institutions must do in order for us to reach this goal.
In Chicago around 1880, the rapid expansion of industrial production meant that many workers were working 60 hours a week, 6 days a week for pittance, in order to fight for basic working rights such as an 8-hour workday. Hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets to hold strikes, which eventually triggered conflicts and resulted in dozens of casualties among participants and police officers.
To mark the event, French worker organization called for May 1st to be designated as International Labor Day and called for a global response to focus on labor rights. This forms the base of our topic, as it reflects the need for labor rights. Decent work entails equal and fair treatment for laborers and employees, which in turn improves the productivity and economic growth of a nation.
Before discussing decent work and economic growth, we need to understand what decent work is. The definition of decent work is related to productive work and opportunities to provide a fair income, workplace safety, prospect for personal development, social integration, and fair treatment. However, everyone has their own idea of what a decent job should look like.
Some people think of a decent job as one paid better while others see it as a job that creates a harmonious working environment, even if the pay is lower. The International Labor Organization defines decent work as productive work performed by women and men in conditions of freedom, equality, security, and human dignity. No matter which definition, I think we can all agree that if we enjoy the work and it provides for our needs, then it is decent work.
From the Chicago example, we can see that when people do not have decent work, people will become agitated and eventually rebel. If people start to rebel, the casualties are likely to occur. So now that we better understand the meaning of decent work, let's take a look at the relationship between decent work and economic growth.
Simply put, if everyone had a decent job, the standard of living in a country would increase, and the gap between rich and poor would narrow, thereby reducing poverty levels.
Decent work requires strengthening the capacity of domestic financial institutions while encouraging and expanding access to banking, insurance, and financial services for all.
For example, in the past 40 years of reform and opening up, Shenzhen has grown from a little-known border town to an international city of over 20 million people with one of the highest wages in the country.
From the above, we know that getting a decent job is very important for every person and country. But with the development of technology, there are fewer job positions.
But with the development of technology, not so many people may need jobs in the future, which will make human beings face heavier pressure of unemployment and competitiveness.
I think it's hard for everyone to find a decent job because everyone has different abilities and fields. If everyone wants a decent job, work companies can be created to increase employment opportunity to ensure that everyone have equal pay for equal work.
Government can also create policy that require workers to receive decent pay with benefits, allowance, and insurance at the company where they work.
International bodies like United Nations need to speak out more about cases of corporate violations of labor and workers' rights, especially in areas where inhumane conditions are still being worked.
In order to achieve the idea of decent work for all, we have come up with several ways that we would like to offer to the government as First, we can strengthen the capacity of domestic financial institutions, such as grading loans and financial assistance, to improve the activity of banks and other financial institutions.
Second, we can relax the procedure for banks to invest in industry. This means that laws and policy need to be enacted to allow banks to invest in industry, which will help promote economic growth.
Third, support public construction and industry by guaranteeing the security of their funds and improving the number of financial institutions and their services to these industries.
In conclusion, decent work is an important aspect to promote economic growth and stability in every country.
It's highlighted the importance of some secondary factors related to work environment that encourage individual and corporate productivity.
Implementing some of the ideas outlined in this study would go a long way in ensuring a good job and an appropriate work environment for all.
And this is the end of our speech. Thank you for listening.